Right then, so break building. A few of us wanted to know about break building, didn't we? Yeah? Well, I'm going to talk through a few principles of break building, and these will help you. And as I say, somehow we'll get this tape to you, so you don't need to be worried about forgetting it or taking too many notes. But I'll talk about some of the principles in break building that will help you to be more consistent and get the most out of your game and your potential. All right? Does that sound fair enough? I think the first thing is that one of the biggest things about making breaks and winning games is what shots you don't play, the shots you don't go for. Most players have, especially everyone's laughing, most players underneath century break standard have 2 or 3 shots of frame where the risk is too great, the level of difficulty is too high, and the speed of the shot is way too fast. Even Tiger Woods can't hit the ball more than 8 out of 10 power without losing control, by his own admission. And we all have the same thing. Give yourself a speed limit in your frame. Maybe allow yourself 1 power shot if you really can't resist it per frame. But you're almost guaranteed to miss it. Give yourself a speed limit, 6 out of 10 speed. You might have to refuse shots, but do that for a week and see how your game changes. How hard you work to place the fuel in a position that you don't need to play with power. That's a useful way of looking at it. So as a general approach to the shot, to the game, that's a useful way of looking at it. Ray Reardon used to say, if you played a power shot, you played the wrong shot. In other words, you were either in the wrong position or you played the shot in the wrong way because you were just making it too difficult to play with all that power. Normally I joke with my students if they're doing this, I say, I'm going to give you a speeding ticket if you play above 6 or 7 out of 10 power. And that's one thing. And then with the shot making itself, I'd say basically the simpler the shot is, the better. The closer the distance is to the next ball, the better. The less speed you're playing, the better. The less spin you're playing, the better. And a great way, that's a way of reducing your unnecessary difficulty. Then all you're left with is the professional way of thinking. And what you can do is, you all watch TV, watch YouTube, the centuries or the 147. Well, not so much the 147s because you know they're playing to the black all the time, but games, centuries, matches. If you try and predict with the volume off what shot the guys are going to play without pressing pause, so you can't press pause and play now. What shot are they going to play here? See if you can predict it before they've actually played the shot, before they've got down. This will train your mind to think very quickly about what the appropriate shot is. And you'll see that they are always playing as little power as they can, close as possible to the next ball, and finding the easiest path to the next ball. If you watch John Higgins, if you calculate the total distance that his white ball moves in a century break, he must have the smallest distance of cue ball movement for a century break on average, along possibly with, possibly Ronnie, Ding, maybe Stephen Hendry. Those 4 have less cue ball distance per century break, I think, probably than anybody else. Yeah, I mean, they're all great players, obviously. Anyone who's had more than 200 competitive centuries is very, very strong, aren't they? But I'd say those 4 particularly, perhaps even a step above all the other great players. But that would be my advice to you: is look for ways to, so this shot here. So if you come. You've got a choice. If you put the red and come up here for the black, so you've moved 10 inches, 12, 30, 50 inches. if you're here, just fade below, but like you've moved, what is it, 5, 12, 20 inches. So you've made it 150% more difficult going above the black for no reason at all. It's all percentages around this area of the table. It's only a few extra inches, but it's 150% more difficult, more challenging. So very important to think about every shot you play before you play with that professional-minded strategy, but also plan it for goodness sake. Plan the shot. My experience is that players beneath century break standard, one of the biggest self-imposed limitations that they don't make more 40s, 50s and 60s. And a century break is only two 50s stuck together after all, isn't it? One of the biggest reasons is that they simply haven't planned the shot in their head first. What we were saying before, which is stand behind your shot, see your shot, get on the line so that you can walk in consistently. When you're chalking the cue, work out what angle do I want on the next red and what distance. Never play a shot until you've worked out what angle you want on the next ball and what distance. And what path the cue ball will take to get there, and which height and which power you need to play the shot. That's all you need to work out. Pros are doing nothing more than that. Angle and distance. Path of white, height and power. So simple. But how many here can say every single shot they do that? How many do it on no shots?
Sometimes.
Yes.
Nothing, well, just put it in place kind of thing.
Yes, I mean there's a difference between playing well and doing it and playing well and not doing it. And then you miss one ball and your game can fall apart. The pros are doing this. Some of them may not realise they're doing that consciously, but they are. So whether you do it consciously or unconsciously, you've got to do it on every shot, see? Very important. Look at that first, look at yourself first, look in the mirror first. Most people, when they are looking for excuses or looking for reasons for failure, prefer to look out of the window rather than in the mirror. Yeah, makes sense? So, first of all, look in the mirror and look for other stuff. Does anyone have any questions about break building? Any specific questions? I think when you talk about building a break, you've got to accept that sometimes you might only score 8 points and be happy with that because it's all you can achieve. My target, I had a target when I was playing competitively. My target was every time I go to the table I'm going to make 50 or do the best I can to make 50 and play safe. So I might lose position, the shot might be too risky, okay, then I'll play safe to the best of my ability. But my target every time I go to the table is to score 50. And that helped me give a sort of fluid rhythm to my game more than just going to the table and hoping I might pot a few balls. So have a target, even if it's to score 20 every time, fair enough. But have that target when you come to the table. And
I found that in terms of, instead of counting points, I now come to the table and think, if I pot 22 balls,
yes,
chances are I'm going to win the floor.
yeah, you will do.
It doesn't happen every time 22 balls, you might get 16, but you know, with one good safety,
That's it.
you can get yourself in again,
Yeah.
then you can get that other 6 balls that you win.
So I think that the mindset to bring to it is that 50 break, but also that you might have to walk away happy with 8 and leaving yourself in control of the table. Keeping control of the table is most important. And I also think personally that the tighter you play, the more breaks you get. That was my experience anyway. I found if I was playing open and breaking the pack open, and I'd lose concentration, I'd make less breaks. But if I played every shot like I was playing Hendry in the World Final, 17 each, then